In this video, we're going to look at the far left and far right behavior of some different polynomial graphs and how we can look at the equation of the graph and tell what the ends of the graph are going to be doing. This is sometimes referred to as end behavior, again, where you're figuring out what the graph is doing as it goes off to the left and the right-hand sides of the graph. Here's some different configurations for the behavior toward the left and the right ends of your graph. The first one we're going to take a look at is this one, where we have the graph going down towards negative infinity off to the left-hand side, okay, as you can see here, and then going up to positive infinity over here on the right-hand side on the other end, okay? So we got down to the left, up to the right. Here's another example. In this one, we have the graph going up to the left and then down to the right. Okay, similar in that they're both going opposite directions, but they're going different directions. Now let's look at a couple more. All right, with this graph, we see that the graph on the left-hand side is going up. So we're up on the left, and we're also up on the right. So this graph has both ends going the same direction, and they're both going up. And then in our last graph here, you see that the graph is going down as it goes off to the left, and it's also going down as it goes off to the right. So both ends are going the same direction, but they are both going down. Okay, now let's talk about the different conditions, that tell us which one of these four situations we might actually see. Okay, and we'll start here with the one that goes down to the left and up to the right, okay? Now, the first thing that you want to look at is what tells you whether the two ends both go the same direction or if they go opposite directions like they do here, okay? And the things that's going to tell you that is the degree of the polynomial, okay? If the ends go opposite, your degree is odd. Okay, odd if they go opposite, okay? And if the left-hand side goes up and the right-hand side, if the left-hand side goes down and the right-hand side goes up, that's telling you that the leading coefficient is positive. So it is that leading term, the degree term, that tells you what the end behavior is. That's actually the only thing that you need, is that one term from your polynomial, and it will tell you everything that you need to know about your end behavior, okay? So if degree is odd, we have opposite, ends going in opposite directions, leading coefficient is positive. Left that off there. Kind of ran out of room. Leading coefficient is positive, so we get the right end going up and the left end going down. Okay, now we can take a look. I'll scoot over just a little bit, so we've got a little bit more room. And this is going to be number 2 here. And for this one, again, the degree is going to be odd. We're going in opposite directions, so degree is odd. And this time the right end goes down. Right end goes down, that means that the leading coefficient was negative. Okay, so degree is odd when the ends go opposite, and the right end is going to kind of help you figure out what the leading coefficient is. Right end goes up, it's positive. Right end goes down, it's negative. All right, now let's look at these two where the two ends go the same direction. This is number 3. Notice that both ends of this graph are going up. Now when you have odd degree, they go opposite directions. So when you have even degree, they will go the same way. So our degree is even. And again, the right end tells you if you're positive or negative on that leading coefficient. If the right end goes up, then you have a positive leading coefficient. okay? Degree tells you if they go opposite or the same. Leading coefficient being positive or negative tells you how the right end goes, okay? And then the left end, of course, is just going to follow it according to whether they do the same thing or whether they go opposite. All right, our last one right here. That graph has two ends that go down, okay? So my degree is even again. They're going the same way. And the leading coefficient is negative. All right. I thought it would let me zoom by pinching, but it's not doing it. Okay, so we've got degree is odd. We've got just checking my lock to see if I had that on or something. That was why I couldn't get it to move. Anyway, the degree is odd. You have the two ends of the graph going opposite directions. If you have a leading coefficient that's positive, the right end will go up. If it is degree is odd and leading coefficient is negative, the right end will go down. And then if your degree is even, the two ends will go the same way. Leading coefficient is positive, means they both go up. If it's negative, they both go down. So those are the four different situations you may see. Okay, so let's take a look at a couple of functions and decide from the way the function is written if our graph would go up or down to the left or to the right. Okay, we're going to write the end behavior down for each one of these. Okay, our first example is going to be x to the fourth minus 7x plus 2. Now the only number that's actually important if you're looking for end behavior is that leading term, the degree term, okay? We want to write down the degree just so we'll have it. And I'm also going to write down the leading coefficient, again, just so we'll have it sitting in front of us. And then we'll talk about what the end behavior is. So take a look and write down your degree. The degree here is 4. That's the largest exponent on any one term in the polynomial. And the leading coefficient is going to be a positive 1. So we have even degree and we have a positive leading coefficient. That graph goes up. Now, I don't know exactly what it does on the inside of the graph, okay, between the two ends, but it's going to go up on both sides. So up to the right and left is what we give for the answer there. All right, let's look at another one. All right, this is a little quadratic. Now this works for the quadratics just like it does for any larger order polynomials, larger degree polynomials rather. When we were doing the quadratics, graphing them in section 2.4, you saw that they make the parabola shape. Both ends of a parabola go either up or down, okay? And if you'll remember, what we talked about was that if the leading coefficient, which was the a value, was positive, it would open up. If it was negative, it would open down. So you can see that those rules go right along with these rules for the end behavior, okay? We have a degree, I'll abbreviate, of 2, and we have a leading coefficient of -1. So I've got even and I've got negative. Even means they go the same way. Negative means they both go down. So if you were to graph it, this of course is a parabola shape, and this is not going to be exactly where it's supposed to be, but this is the shape that you would get, both ends going down. So the left and right ends go down. And there's a lot of different ways you could write that. Both go down, whatever works for you. Okay? All right, let's do a couple more. I want you to see an illustration of each one of the 4 different ones. So we'll just do a different slide here so that one doesn't get too long. And let's see, what do I want to do? Negative x to the 5th plus 3x cubed minus 6. And we'll let that be g of x. Too much negative there. Okay. So write down your degree and write down your leading coefficient. All right, degree is odd. Leading coefficient is negative. Odd means they go opposite directions. The negative means the right end goes down. So what you would see, and again, I don't really know what this does between those 2 arrows, but it goes up to the left and down to the right. All right, one more. This would be D part. We'll say h of x is equal to positive x cubed minus 6x squared plus x minus 2. Degree is 3. Leading coefficient is positive 1. So we have an odd degree and a positive leading coefficient. Odd degree means they go opposite. Positive leading coefficient means the right end will go up. So left, down, right, up. And those are your 4 different situations for end paper.